Yo, what up, guys? So I think today is day 14, going strong, still posting a video for the whole month of December. So I just finished, actually. I was supposed to be out kind of like shooting, but I've been at home studying. So last night I went out and took the camera out to shoot in some low light, basically not even light, it was night. So when I'm using the cell phone, that's how I learned how to get really good clean footage with the cell phone, by filming at night. So in the daytime it was so much easier to film. But I took the camera out last night and I set the ISO to 200. And a lot of you guys are like, what the heck is ISO? ISO is important, something you guys want to really like. It helps you, sometimes people ask me, how do I not get any noise in my shots or in my photos? And if you have your camera in auto mode, and the one thing with the cameras when they're in auto mode, it's going to crank up the ISO to try to make the photo look nice and lit. Basically, ISO is how much light your camera lets in to the camera. So a higher ISO, a lot of light comes in. A lower ISO, very little light comes in. So when you're filming like at night or something, you crank the ISO up because it's no light, it needs more light, so you crank that up. Now, the negative of cranking that ISO up, you get a lot of noise. And that's how you get that grainy, crunchy look on your photos, because the ISO is too high. Now, when the phone is like, when I shoot my phone and when it's in auto mode, even in the daytime, sometimes it still cranks up the ISO to try to take out the shadows in my face. So that's one reason why I prefer to shoot in manual mode versus in auto mode. And that's how I get a lot of my photos and my video so clean, is because I try to film or take photos in the lowest ISO possible. Like most of the time on my phone, I try to set it to ISO 80 and as low as possible. Now, you're not gonna be able to do that every single time, because sometimes there's just not enough light. You're gonna have to make adjustments, which I'm not gonna get into in this video, because it can, I just watched a video about ISO, aperture, and frame rate. There's a triangle, ISO, frame rate, and aperture. It's like literally almost a 2-hour video. So you can search on YouTube and get hours and hours of video. But today I'm just going to talk about ISO. And my number one tip is try to keep that as low as possible. And again, like I tried to film last night with the camera with an ISO of 200. And the footage, as you can see here, I'm going to show you, doesn't look like, it's very, very, very dark. And it still wasn't enough light to be let into the camera to get, the shots that I was kind of visualizing in my mind and in my eye. So I'm gonna go back out again and try to crank up the ISO a little bit higher, not to the maximum which my camera can do, which I think is like 2000 or something like that, 2200 or something. Because if I crank it up to max ISO, it's gonna look grainy, it's gonna look horrible. So I gotta find that sweet spot for the ISO and when I'm filming at night, which I kind of figured out using my cell phone here. If I can squeeze like 200, 300, I don't know the exact number, because it changes based on your scene. But that's the one thing that I do when I'm shooting with my phone and I'm doing night videos. I try to keep that ISO low and use the shadows and use surrounding light to light your scene. Every time, you don't always have to have your face perfectly well lit at night. I use my little cheap $10 ring light, and I can use that just to put enough of a silhouette on my face, and then that's just enough to get the shot and keep a low ISO and get the picture nice and clean. So enough of my jibber jab. I just wanted to drop in, guys, with you and let you know what I've been studying. Today I didn't really go out and do any filming, because today I just sat on the computer and watched videos about ISO. Now there is a gold, like I told you, there's a triangle: shutter speed, ISO, and aperture. Yeah, aperture being f-stop, and it's all this computer, not computer, but camera jargon or language we talk. But these same three, the golden triangle, it does apply to our cell phones. When I put my Samsung in manual mode, I do have access to control my ISO, my frame rate, and my aperture. Frame rate is basically how fast your camera will close when letting in light, or how slow will it stay open. And we'll use the big long time for night when you get those streaky lines and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna get into all that. I'm gonna break it down slowly, but ISO keep your ISO as low as you can to try to get a nice, good, clean photo. Patrick LeVar, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Also, quickly, guys, I wanted to show you guys my setup. I'm using the camera to film this right now. I got a little light here off to the side. I'm trying to use the window light, the light from the window, to keep my ISO low. Right now on my camera, I have my ISO set to 100, which is as low as it would go. I also have a small little light here off to the left to get this to light this side. If I turn that light off, you'll see the difference. Now that light is off, you can see how much darker it is. I'm looking at my monitor. I have the monitor on top here, but you'll see how much darker it is without that light. So I'm getting some good light here, and I wanted just to, you know, bring up some of the details of my kill that shadow. So I crank this light up here. Boom. Now you got that nice kind of like cinematic-y, moody look. I am using the dang it, I keep forgetting that. I keep forgetting the name of this Comica wireless mic system. I do have the level cranked up this time to 10, which I think sounds pretty good. It's honestly, you know, so far, let me do a quick little review on this. I'm really happy about this system so far. The only one thing I don't like, it's plastic, and it just, to me, it feels like if I drop it, I don't know if it's gonna work again. That's the only negative I have towards this so far. Other than that, you know, the quality on the audio sounds okay. You know, I had some issues with it. You basically can't just take it out of the box, fire it up and go. You're gonna have to adjust the volumes. And I notice I get a different sound level when I'm using it with the camera versus when I'm using it with the cell phone. So, so far I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, the only issue I have is plastic, and it feels like if I drop it, it might break. But it's very lightweight, which is a plus though, with it being plastic. It does take batteries, 2 AA batteries. I wish it was a rechargeable unit so I didn't have to worry about batteries. But hey, you know, it's so far I have no issues. It does have a line-in jack here, so I can plug in like my my other mic, my Rogue Micro Mini. I haven't tried it out with that yet, just because I'm still trying to see how this whole wireless system works. So I'm pretty happy with it. I got no complaints. I'll continue to review on it, and you know how I do my reviews, guys. It's real time. So one other thing I'm probably going to try out to do this weekend is see how far I can go before you start losing the sound. So take a look, links in the description. So far I'm happy with it. Another note, the bleep, 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 bleep. I forgot what I was going to say, so that means it's time to go. But anyways, enough of my jabba. See you tomorrow. Peace.